people, welcome to another edition of Real Talk TV. I'm your host, and today we have a show today, again, a popular demand. We like to think so. We got brother Robert Taylor and sister Tish Taylor, right?
His
Okay.
daughter.
From Concerned Citizens of St. John, right?
Correct.
Somewhat.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's right.
I've been in the dark. I don't have all the particulars, and forgive me if I don't have everything on your organization right now, because I know things get changed. But you know what caught my attention, brother Robert Taylor, uh, when I saw the articles about Louisiana and dealings with the EPA and Jeff Landry and others in the Louisiana legislative body, and even the local congressman who went off the rails over here about the whole issue of the plants in Louisiana, in Cancer Alley, and especially the Dinka plant. But besides that, how have you guys been? How have you guys been?
Well, busy. I can tell you that. Yeah, it's
Yes.
it's been sort of hectic for us. As you can
Hmm.
see, there have been a lot of things happening,
Hmm.
pros and cons.
Right, right. Well, introduce the audience once again. Give a short introduction about yourself and what you guys have been doing. You sisters and brothers. I call you guys, but sisters and brothers. How what the fight is about, and how long you been in the fight.
My name's Robert Taylor, and Tish is my daughter. Uh, we founded this organization in 2016, and that's when the fight actually began. Prior to that, there had been no activities going on seriously challenging the situations in Cancer Alley. We have outside organizations that come in, and but they had never really been doing anything to benefit the people in Cancer Alley. So we started this organization in 2016. We got it chartered and found in early 17, and started our activity, man, from picketing the local places to marching on Baton Rouge, and it's been busy since. And the fact that you mentioned this politician that's not even from this area, the greatest success we've had is that the EPA has taken a look at us and saw the seriousness of this and decided to come here to help us. And we've got this Louisiana politician talking about locking up, putting in jail the head
Yes.
of the national EPA. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm astounded at that.
Yeah.
He wants to lock I mean, this man was appointed by the president as the administrator of the Environmental Protection Agency of the United States. And when this man does his job extraordinarily, he comes to Louisiana, comes to reserve to confront Dinka. And we have a politician that wants to put him in jail?
Absolutely ludicrous. Clay Higgins, and again, I've been ranting about Clay Higgins before he was the congressman from the 3rd Congressional District. He garnered his attention, and I'm not going to dwell too much on him, but he garnered attention by going after some young black males supposedly was an alleged gang ties, and he went viral. That in the time of what we call Trump speak. You say something crazy, you act crazy, and basically your resume is that you're an idiot. They love you. That and it is not Trump, and it's not Clay Higgins. What it is, the people are voting for these people. I keep telling people, Clay Higgins and Trump and Landry, people vote for these people because that's what they want. And when you go to work with these same people, they don't have no love for you. They pretend. This whole Cajun Acadiana, don't get started with brother Takuna El Shabazz. He's been telling you the truth, the late great. He's been telling you the truth about these people. They don't really love you. They just want to exploit you. So Clay Higgins is a symptom, and he has absolutely no idea what he's talking about other than just to say something crazy. So enough of my ranting.
Yeah, yeah, that's terrible.
Mhm.
And in all due respects to you, the great brother Takuna, who you mentioned, man, certainly admire the gentleman and his work,
Yes.
and he certainly will be missed. He is a great asset to our community.
Yes. Yes. Now, tell us a little bit more about that issue that the EPA want to try to implement with, I think, regulations as it relates to Louisiana also and other states.
Yeah, Tish, you want to talk a little bit about that?
The Han ruling.
Yeah, about the Han
The
ruling.
Han, the Han ruling. It's been they've been really creating this ruling for quite some time. The last time he actually came out to us was in 2022, I think. So what the rule is, they put new regulations on 5 new chemicals. I think it may be 6 chemicals, but 2 of the chemicals are very the emissions are really high in St. John Parish, and that is ethylene oxide and, of course, chloroprene, which comes from the Dinka facility. And that's what we've been battling for the last 8 years. They told us 8 years ago that we had the highest risk of cancer in the United States because of the emissions of chloroprene. And since then, Dinka has spent more money trying to fight that regulation. They brought the emissions down, but still, they don't want to spend the money to actually do it. So now 8 years, this Han ruling set a mandate. Daddy's favorite word is mandate. So he set a mandate that they had to have all of the monitoring up and a plan to lower the emissions to zero point 0.3 micrograms per cubic meter of air. And they of course asked for a stay of the 90-day rule. Now, unfortunately, they've actually been doing it for 56 years, a combination of DuPont and Dinka. It's been 8 years. So really, I count 8 years in 90 days, and they don't want to do it. We know for a fact they're not going to lay off people or shut down a plant because they're making probably billions of dollars. They
Right.
just don't want to spend anything. They'd rather hurt the employees than to and the community than to actually um, adhere to the mandate. So the mandate is our wonderful word. We're looking forward to all of this coming to fruition, whether they try or not, because right now, all of the other ones that they were doing, EPA was giving them 2 years to do this, 2 years to do that. And finally, they still had not complied. Well, now with the 90-day mandate, it has to happen. So this is a wonderful day for us, and it doesn't prolong anything. The 90 days are counting, so they can send anything they want to every lawyer, to DC. But the fact is that the time is ticking. We need to make a calendar, Daddy, and mark off every day. I think we're gonna do that. A countdown. There it is. We're gonna set up a countdown.
Now, have there been a lot of pressure concerning, say, concerning the workers that I mean, that the idea of the plant threatening to shut down had that caused a lot of pressure to be put on you guys, on you and your organization?
Daddy?
Well, well, our organization and the work we are doing, we've had resistance. We've had some resistance, uh, but the whole thing, Jay, I really want to speak to that. It's nonsensical.
Hmm.
These plants brag about the economic advantages they bring to the black community, and that's a farce. That is a joke.
Yes.
We have no economic benefits from this plant. If we just take Dinka in particular, it's located in Reserve, Louisiana, with little less than 9,000 people. That plant claims to employ 250 people. And we know that 95% of them don't live in St. John the Baptist Parish, certainly not in Reserve, Louisiana. So the thought of them trying to convince us that we should sacrifice 9,000 people for 5 jobs, for 200 jobs, no job is worth the suffering and pain and debt
Right.
of our innocent people.
Right.
We actually have double that amount of children at Fifth Ward Elementary. that's getting the brunt of these horrible emissions. So, I mean, they have to do what they have to do because I know their bottom line is what matters, but our health is what matters.
Right, right, and so much as you, Brother Taylor, and your and groups and other groups who had partnered with you, is there a lot of widespread support from other groups for what your stance is? Your stance, I think your stance is a little bit more. I read other groups, and I know there are other groups who are pretending, from what I saw, and I'm not down that way. But you know, as a whole, for the environmental issues in the state of Louisiana, granted the statistics showing that, how much support are you getting from other groups?
Groups that are outside of the area, mostly outside of the state, have been wonderful in bringing us out and support. Not so much from groups in the state. There are groups here, not in Cancer Alley, in particular Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and New Orleans, Louisiana, that have not been helpful to us in our struggle. Although they pretend that that's what they do, it's pretense. When we look for actual fact, if we, I'm biblical when it comes to this. When I studied the Bible as a kid, there are things that I got out of the Bible that stick with me. One of them is, by their works ye shall know them. And when we hold these people up to that standard, we'll see that they are actually there for the benefit of the petrochemical industry.
Themselves.
And of course, the benefits that goes to them, not to the people, especially the fence line communities in Cancer Alley. And right now, one of these organizations has taken aim at our organization, and they're trying to destroy us. And they're bringing they have filed charges actually in court against me personally and against our organization, and I am outraged. We have worked for 8 years. We don't make money. We don't have any money. We've been working to save our lives and the lives of the people in our community. And the audacity of these people, drawing their big salaries and with all of their expense accounts, to come in and attack us. Well, I stand here before God and everybody, and I challenge them to prove the allegations that they are making against me, that I am some kind of evil person. And I am upset about it, and I'm no longer going to sit around and let these people drag us and me the way they are doing. And I want to bring attention to the other people in Louisiana, especially communities like ours, where these people have been active. And I want to ask those people, do they see evidence of benefits from those people, other than those people coming in and getting on a TV and making money? What results have they brought to their communities?
And there can be groups, like in every different movement, even as we discuss the issues of police accountability in the state of Louisiana, there are groups that exploit those issues for fame and fortune in the long run, or notoriety, and they turn around, they abandon the community. You've seen it a lot. I mean, we have the Rodman Green family. The sister's been fighting for a long, long time. There's many groups came and fought and pretended that they was going to do some accounting. Even politicians, you know. Don't get me started on them, Mr. Taylor. Don't get me started on our Louisiana elected officials. They the worst of the worst, even when they supposedly are some good people, you know. And we see that all the time. Now, with your groups, it's so much a profound thing when you have people dying of cancer. You got people dying of all kind of associated illnesses all over the state. Louisiana statistics are off the chart. All you have to do, go to any one of the think tanks or organizations, and they're all in agreement, whether they are a conscious black movement, whether they're some type of university, they're all in agreement about Louisiana health outcomes. And I don't understand when these politicians go to Baton Rouge, they don't have that in mind. It's about, they just want to be elected as celebrities in the state of Louisiana. I see Tish face.
That's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot. But that's, I mean, that's the way I see it. It doesn't make any sense that the house is burning down, but you're out there fiddling around with the fiddle.
Yeah.
You know?
People definitely come in and exploit the frontline communities. You know, there's good and bad. We've had great people that walk with us, march with us throughout our communities. Right. And they are wonderful. And then, like I said, there's a few that come in, that sweep in to save you and then just kind of cause controversy and split up organizations and split money. So it's just, it can get ugly with the people who still want to have control over the organizations. They won't let people work individually. They want to be the puppet master. And some of us we're not built like that. So that's going to cause controversy.
I think we have a caller. We can get this call on the line. Mm-hmm. Good morning, caller. You're speaking with Brother Robert Taylor and Sister Tish Taylor of Concerned Citizens of St. John. Good morning. Well, hold on, caller. I got you plugged up. I'm a one-man band. You know me. Okay, go ahead, caller.
That's all right. How you doing, Brother
Taylor? Can you hear the caller?
Yes, I can. Good morning, sir.
Okay, Brother G. How y'all doing, brother?
We're doing great.
Okay. What I want to say is that I appreciate the vigorous fight that is being waged against these companies that pollute and bring destructive environment to your area. I always wanted to help out. I have been there before and worked with a couple of people in Agard, Louisiana. They got a grain elevator they're trying to keep out of there. But my thing is, I think that all the groups along that river, and I'm hoping that all groups can unite and come together and fight this thing, because all these major manufacturers are united and they got the governor backing them, and other politicians are fully behind them. So we got to unite despite the demographic. I live here, you live over here, stuff like that. We all got to come together. We'll be much stronger and much effective when there's a united front. Thank you, Brother Jay.
Thank you so much, caller. That was Reverend Raymond Brown of National Action Now. We appreciate him the show.
Well, Brother Brown hit it right on the head, Jay. As a matter of fact, that movement has started here with our group in St. John and a group in St. James. I think you remember one day we were on and she was coming through town and she stopped in. We have decided, and we have already taken the actions, we are going to organize and St. John's, the Concerned Citizens of St. John, along with Rise St. James, we're reaching out to other fence line organizations. And we especially want to reach to the ladies down there. There were 3 ladies came from your area, Jay, and they drove down here, man, and they came out and had me take them around and show them the problems they want. They offered this unity, and that's what we are going to pursue right now. Exactly what your guy just brought up. And that is our only hope. We're gonna have to unite our fence line communities. Look, as a result of that EPA gentleman, Mr. Regan, who came here, he dedicated funds specifically to fence line communities. He went back to D.C. after that visit over here, and dedicated funds to helping us. So we going to have to organize ourselves, our fence line communities, in order that we can take advantage of that, the support that's being offered us by the EPA, so that these other people don't come in and upset the court. And they are promoting disunity. They're using that divide and conquer tactic that's always been so successful against us. But here we are in the 21st century, and as intelligent Black people, we got to stand up against these intrusions by these outside. I mean, we've had so much help, man. There are so many genuine people that's been working to help us, that we have to show them that we are not going to let these one or two people, organizations that want to come in and divide and conquer us and stop us from protecting ourselves. I mean, the audacity. What they are doing with their divide and conquer is a big aid to the petrochemical industry. Because instead of us fighting DuPont Dinker right now, after our 8 years of struggling against DuPont Dinker, I am now engaged in fighting. They came in and taken members of my organization, and now I got to fight them. And I got to go to court, and while Dinker is poisoning our people. And I'm very upset about it, and I'm trying to just maintain some decorum here, because, you know, it's very upsetting to me to watch these people pretend they're there to help us when they are actually helping the petrochemical industry.
Yes. Go ahead, my sister. You about to say something?
Well, I think that us becoming a 501c3 was a major part of it's a major part of our exodus, pretty much, of us just increasing everything, removing ourselves from people that want to control us because they're the ones who collect funds on our behalf. So if we can learn to be a little more independent and to go there, like Dad said, there's so many opportunities for training. Right now, I'm just starting to work full time for the organization, and going through different organizations and different websites. There's so many people that's sitting and waiting for us to ask for the training that we need to run our own organization and to collect our own funds. And a part of collecting those funds would be somebody that it would be the option to hire someone to manage those funds under you, instead of someone over you telling you how to spend the money that's allocated for you. So it's just so important that we become independent from
those forces.
Of fiscal sponsors. You know, be very aware of how they manage things in most cases, and just do your homework and ask. Send us a message. We have a website, CCOSJ.com. We have our email, Citizens of St. John Parish, Concerned Citizens of St. John Parish. Please reach out to us, and that's at Gmail. I'll send that to you again. But just reach out. Let's talk. We need to have a forum where we can ask each other's questions, where we can get the support that we need. There's wonderful agency that can collect money for you and do great things for you. Let's talk about them. Let's have a discussion amongst ourselves about what's best, what has been tried and what doesn't work, and who doesn't work for the frontline communities. That's important for us to move forward, you know, as a team of people fighting for their lives. And that's very important. And we also need to know we need to work to get out the vote. We have been working closely with the Poor People's Campaign. They're actually having their march on Washington.
Reverend Barber, right?
Reverend Barber, with the Poor People's Campaign. They fight for poor people across the line, and environmental racism is a major part of their campaign, environmental justice. So we're going to be working with them with the Get Out the Vote campaign, as well as flying out to the march. Dad and Miss Sharon with Rise St. James will be speaking.
You don't mind if I give her a shout out? I know she made the Times top. I think
100.
top two. Okay, listen, I saw those pics, but I know our brother Robert. He got our vote all the time in our community. I'm gonna just say it like that.
And I appreciate you guys, man. And I want to invite the brother you just had on to get in touch with me so we can reach out to our fence line community statewide so that we can organize. And we can organize to take care of ourselves.
And people out there in the listening audience, if you want to talk to Brother Robert Taylor and Sister Tish Taylor, the number to call in is area code 337-983-6080. The lines are open. And again, we're live on AOC Community Media. That's Cox 15 in Lafayette and LUS in Lafayette, and also in the 5 parish area surrounding Lafayette. An area you would want to talk on, because we know the so-called gatekeepers who are running roughshod in Baton Rouge right now. They hail from this area. And going back into the political front, I know, brother, I don't know how you feel, Brother Robert, but we have to do more if we're going to participate. If all of us going to participate and do what they say to do, to vote, we have to have our first start off with our black politicians to know that you got voter apathy in your community because of what you're not doing, not because people just don't want to vote or participate. Voter apathy is caused by some of our politicians who go to Baton Rouge and get in those gates and see the lobbyists with the big suitcase. I never saw a big suitcase before, but I know they're there, Miss Brother Taylor. I know the big suitcase of money is over there. Ask me, how do I know? When I see the governor and his cohorts in the Louisiana legislature want to supposedly get angry and pass legislation to give organizations and groups and companies like Dinka a free pass. That's how I know the suitcases are over there. And if you're not dealing with logic that something is bad over here and something is good and you're going for the bad, well, I know the suitcase influences the bad. I'm going to just put it like that.
Yeah, that suitcase comes from the Louisiana Chemical Association.
Yeah.
They are pretty much writing legislation right now to protect their industry. And our wonderful governor, we have a grant for a community monitoring program, and he actually is trying to pretty much negate the information that we collect and stop us from stopping freedom of speech, stopping us from trying to stop us from being able to even share the information that we get for the monitors. They are diabolical. Right now, I'm not sure if they passed it yet. Have they passed the legislation where they have we don't have access to their public information anymore?
Completely.
Public records?
I think he has to sign a couple of bills, and that's another problem.
Yeah, they are making it more and more obvious that they're going to be doing underhanded things.
But I haven't seen in the Louisiana legislature. I understand the supermajority line of answers, excuses that they got. But when was the last time any member of the Louisiana so-called Black Caucus called a press conference and say, look, stand in opposition to these laws being put on the book? It's taking us back to another time. It's taking us back to Jim Crow. It's taking us back to slavery, post-slavery. And it's also taking us back to a third world. They want to describe banana republic where people are dying, literally dying every day at the expense of these so-called corporate greed entities.
Yeah, it's already set. It was set when they designated us as a sacrifice zone. It's already been in the political makeup. So it's just now they can just run rampant because they have the whole legislation locked up. And so that means we really need to get out the vote. We need to educate our community to understand that local first. Local is the most important when it comes down to vote. We have to make sure that you and your community and this state are actually gonna work for you. And that means that we have to make sure that they see what these laws are and understand what the consequences are to those laws. And in most cases, people are just trying to survive. They don't have time to sit down and say, what is this and what is that and how do we handle it? Because if they would be here with us. So we have to find a way to get get them to actually understand what's going on. So reaching out to the community is so vital because it's almost like we preaching to the choir. The people who are listening are the people who already know. How do we get the people that are just living and struggling every day to actually add this to their plate because it's so important. And that's a big issue when it comes down to changing the narrative of how this state is run.
Yes. When as far as having your statistics pertaining to health issues in your area, do you have readily access from the public officials? How do you ever? I mean, your group ever confront the local health authorities with the numbers? And if you have some numbers that you care to share with us lately, the latest numbers concerning the health outcomes, feel free to let us know. Excuse me.
I don't have any definite numbers. Our latest numbers were in, I think, 2020. We had the highest death rate of COVID per capita in our state, in the country. I'm sorry, in the United States. And I know that we had the number one highest asthma hospitalizations in the state, and we're in the top 5 in the country. And that's St. John Parish first, St. Charles Parish second, and then St. James. So we have to understand that this is not going away. The emissions are not stopping. We have to change that narrative. We have to go in front of each one of these plants, and we have to skip straight past the governor and move straight to EPA to make sure these mandates are going to be met, and that they're going to be regulated correctly.
Yes. Brother Taylor, in St. John Parish, right? That's where your organization mainly operates as far as that's St. John Parish, right? St. John the Baptist?
Yes.
Okay. Well, how many plants are in that area in a certain radius?
Well, actually, the major plants, and it's hard to keep up with them.
Right.
The primary plant, the largest plant that we have is Marathon Oil.
Okay.
That division of Marathon is the second largest in the United States. It's right in Reserve. Although they claim that they're in Garyville, they're in Reserve, Louisiana. The one that's been most impactful and the one that we're talking about the most is DuPont Dinker. Because when they went into business in the late 60s, 69, I think, and they've had a devastating effect on our community. They're the ones that epitomizes a fence line community. They are right in the middle of Reserve, Louisiana. They're 1,500 feet from our elementary school. And they're poisoning our children at a rate that is unbelievable. And I could not understand why that was being allowed until I got word of something called a sacrifice zone. Here we are in the 21st century in Christian America, and we have a sacrifice zone. We, in front of God and everybody, these people have determined that our lives, our children, our families can be sacrificed at the altar of greed of these petrochemical industries. And right now, I'm praying and I'm imploring our people let's open our eyes. Let's become aware. I mean, look at what these people are doing to us. They're devastating our communities. Our schools are the last in
Yes.
anything good, and they're number one in the worst. Our health, our economy. They have designated us a sacrifice zone. My God.
Sometime I wonder if they didn't designate all of Louisiana sacrifice zone. I mean, I know I'm kind of segue into a part of this whole political thing about everything. Even fertilizing the ground for death and violence with the new laws on the book concerning gun. Everybody could have a gun now. And so what I see, the climate of the culture now where young people has these issues, and we talked about it, you and I, about they roll on each other and they have drive-by shooting and somebody's dead and then somebody's going to prison. The prison industrial complex is building more jails, putting more laws on the book to make it easier for you to stay incarcerated. So they're creating that climate. It's like they trying to, it's almost like a genocide in a sense. If you fertilize the ground or you make it possible for those things to happen, having guns everywhere, how does that make us all safe? How does having chemical plants that hurt our community and spew emissions and rain down on us every day, how does that make us all safe? With the relaxed regulation that Landry and cohorts in the Louisiana legislature and people like Blake Miguez from my area, I'm saying his name on this channel, he's an enemy of black folks. Jeff Landry is an enemy of black folks, coming from me. That's the way I see it. I don't see no other option if you're not trying to make our life better, but you want our life to be much more dangerous, So I understand where you're coming from, Brother Taylor.
Yeah, I'm just hoping now, and I'm beseeching our people. Let's stand up and defend ourselves against this. In this day and age, the 21st century, we have these people, their little tricks, and it's so easy to see past them.
Yeah.
We live in these communities. We see that what has happened. I've watched it happen over the last 30 or 40 years. All the whites move out. All the communities turn black. How could it be that 92% of the victims of this are black people?
Yeah.
Black people who supposedly, we're in the state of Louisiana, we are 30-something% of the state's population.
Right.
But we are 92% of the victims of the petrochemical industry, of the poisons and debt. It's our communities that are bombarded.
They don't want They don't want to properly educate you on health issues in Louisiana. And I do a show on Saturday mornings, and I want to get more into the health issues and the health crisis. And I see the statistics of how we have this natural migration from diagnosis of high blood pressure to kidney issues to kidney failure to dialysis to the graveyard. And we see it so much more in our community. And they want to, if they follow this thing, it's hereditary. No, it's not. It's not necessarily that. It's more like a natural progression of what the culture tells you is good. Eat all of this bad food. Eat all of this stuff that put you on that road to go on to the kidney dialysis place. They don't tell you that. Louisianans, the food tastes good, Brother Robert. It goes down good. But I tell you what, it is bad as hell on your health, on your organs in your body. They don't tell you that. The doctor just put you on a immediate symptom fixing drug, and that's it. They don't tell you could cleanse yourself if you eat a little bit more healthier and you eat things that have the proper nutrients. They don't tell you none of that. So it's a natural progression only in the black community. I see that.
Well, when I've been questioned, people ask me why did they choose our community? See, and a prime example of that is Rise St. James up in St. James Parish with that problem they had with Formosa. When Formosa was looking for a place to come with that horrible thing, they had 6 options. 5 of them were white, 1 was black. Out of the 6, they unfailingly did what they always do. There was only 1 black option, but 5 whites. And they chose the black option. And the purpose for that, when I hear them bragging, this is the statement I got from them. Well, we always pick the low-hanging fruit. See, because these people, we can go in and do all this stuff to them and they won't do anything.
Right.
They're not gonna be able to organize. Well, we can, but we have failed in the past. Historically, they know that they can come in our community and kill our children and our grandparents and our spouses. They can come in and destroy us, and we're not going to do anything about it. And I'm challenging people now. We must stand up. We must stop allowing these people to do what they have been doing to us. We've got to organize. We've got to resist this.
Yes.
I'd like to say that blaming the victim, that's a low blow. Blaming the victim. We definitely don't eat well. But I promise you, people all over the world, there are people who don't eat well. The problem is they're not exposed to the emissions and the water poison that we are. Their immune systems are not compromised. Now, it's one thing for you to have a bad diet and you're breathing poison, carcinogens, likely carcinogens, in a combination with hundreds of other chemicals in the air. We will die. And it's not just because we are overweight and eating bad. Now, I'm not going to say that's not a major factor in our health, and we don't normally have the best health care. We don't get health care.
And it's a combination of so many things that the science has pointed out. You take that. I used to see some of my friends and things I used to do when I was young. I don't do on the side of the road fishing in the canals. Right by the sugar cane growing where the crop duster is spraying this sugar cane. I think we got a call. I'm going to go to that caller first and come back. Caller, welcome. Welcome to Real Talk TV.
Yes, good morning, Brother Jen. Good morning to your guests. Hey, look here.
My guest, I'm sorry, Brother Wallace, my guest. Can you hear Brother Wallace?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead, Brother Wallace.
You know, the Pont plant that's over there in St. Tammy Parish. You remember when they
what plant that is, brother? I think Brother Taylor trying to hear.
DuPont.
DuPont?
Yeah, DuPont did that. You know, you remember when they made those pots, those non-stick pots and all that stuff? If you use metal spoon or anything like this in it, it came up. It made a lot of people sick. Now, I used to drive truck, and I used to go in those plants. And when I started going to the plant, my God-given common sense told me this job was not for me, you know, and I quit driving trucks just because of the things that they had in those plants and I knew about. You know, you guys keep up the good work. You know, that's what it takes, strong people to keep on fighting for the things that we need in our life, because those big companies, they don't care about us. They just care about the money that they're making. I thank you guys for giving me this opportunity. Thank you, brother.
Thank you, brother.
A good program, good guest on, because we need to hear from them too.
Yeah.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you.
Wow, Jay, I especially want to thank
you can hear
Jay.
him every Friday on AOC Community Media at 10 o'clock. That's Brother Wallace with Community Matters.
I certainly want to thank this brother. He's a rare person. They're all people who have taken his stance. The most that we're getting is from those few blacks who are employed in these plants. that really fight against us. This brother is a rare brother, who stood up for us.
And smart.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank to you, brother.
Mhm.
And bro, and going back to this, and I'm gonna say it briefly about Louisiana being the most polluted state, also that all contribute. They don't. It's like we don't understand. You hurt your environment, you're hurting yourself. The crop dusters, they spray the sugar cane. You're on the side of the road fishing in the canal that runs on the side of the sugar cane. You're absorbing all the petrochemicals that they're spraying the crop with in the where the fish and the crabs and the crawfish that you're getting, and they complain about why we so sick. You dig up all the canals in the sense of saying we want better, deeper port and the port of Iberia and so forth, but you complain about the high water encroaching on your property, and you're saying you have worse hurricane because you don't believe in climate warming. So all the signs that's there telling you what you're doing, destroying yourself, and you don't want to believe that. So you say a person like Brother Robert come along, a person like Sister Tish come along, and Brother Jay, and say something we crazy when the science pointing out to the fact that we are factual in what we saying. You can't eat all that stuff that you getting on the side of the road is polluted. We the most polluted state in the union.
Yeah, our waters are definitely polluted. Just the back of run from the plants and the exposure from there, but also the fact that we don't have enough. Everything goes up that comes down.
Yeah.
It has to come down, and they're actually also putting more in. Our groundwater is compromised, so we have to be more aware of what's next to our water source that we're fishing from and hunting everything, because it's everywhere. I'm gonna get the charger.
Brother Taylor, and even people, workers like Brother Wallace was saying that when he used to drive trucks and have to drive into these plants and so forth. Even you mentioned that school that was on what plant was that one? Where the
That's
school?
DuPont Denker.
Denker, yes. And how big is Denker, the facility, the complex? It's a big facility, right?
Yeah. You see, what it really was DuPont had been there forever.
Yeah.
So when EPA decided that they had to step in because of how horribly they were polluting our community, DuPont sold 80% of its operations to this foreign company. It's a Japanese company, Denka.
Right.
But they did that in 2015. They sold the company. Then EPA came in 2016 and warned the community of the level of poison and of how dangerous Denka was to us. So they were just doing diversionary tactics to try to get away from their responsibility. So it's now they're going under the label DuPont Denka. DuPont still owns that property over there, and they're working in collusion with Denka in what they're doing.
Is that foreign national company owns that Chinese?
Yeah.
They're Japanese.
Japanese, I'm sorry. Okay.
Yeah, Denka is a Japanese company.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm thinking so much about the whole issue with TikTok and all this other stuff. I mean, you get upset, Congressman Clay Higgins, about the Chinese influence. Now they're getting ready to ban the drones that made in China. A lot of us own drones who do videography work. And the thing is, even the Japanese, you don't talk about banning Japanese company that kills black folks, and
That's right.
that's amazing. It's amazing. They pick and choose what they want to say is bad. I haven't seen any Chinese petrochemical company in my backyard lately, unless I'm buying some stuff from China, But the influence peddling that goes on in the state of Louisiana, whether it's for tax incentive, whether it's the few that profit off of, that's the thing we have to look at, because that's all tied in. Because if people are giving big profits to politicians through backdoor deals, that's what we have to look at also. That's a front we have to open up in order. Maybe that might be something to stop them from implementing these policies to protect these companies like DuPont Dinker, you know?
Well, you're absolutely right about that, Jay. But I'm just so stuck now on the fact that the greatest number one asset we got is us.
Yeah.
I'm still begging us. I'm imploring, beseeching people in all of our fence line communities. Let's circle the wagons, and so that we can protect ourselves. We can defend ourselves from these onslaughts. Because as you can see, we're not going to get any help from any of these people.
It takes just keep informing the people. And when people realize a lot of their problems are created by this system, and maybe they might recognize you only could take so much as a human being, you know, even though I know some of our politicians who I speak ill of, they still don't get it. They still don't get it. And when the new crop comes along, they fall into the same trap where they go to Baton Rouge and they become celebrities. You know, the only thing I wish for if we had Jeff Landry start acting like Trump and tell them they fired since they want to become celebrities. But what can we do? I know time is winding down. What can we do to support your organization and organizations such as yours?
Well, you can definitely look us up. We're looking, of course, always asking for funding to help us to be able to do this work. Our website is ccosj.com. Our email is citizensofstjohnparish@gmail.com. We have a Facebook page as Concerned Citizens of St. John. There was one, an original one that we don't have any access to anymore. So I want you to look for the one with the single fist on it.
Look for the one with Brother Taylor and yourself. That's what we say. We go by originals.
Yeah. So we want that. Want you to know that, and just reach out to us. We will come to your community. If you want to have a community meeting, we will be happy to come to your neighborhood to meet with your organization so that we can come together. Let's come together, and please just let us know if you need us for anything. We'll be back.
I'm sorry, Jay. I just keep in mind what Dr. King said, what he was very, very adamant about when he warned us and talked to us. He said that if we don't come together as brothers and sisters, we're going to die together as fools. It's as simple as us coming together, because they will always keep us together. They will always segregate against us. Our black communities are just as black today as they were in 1960s when I was growing up. So we are together. Now we just need to physically, geographically, So we need to come together spiritually and morally and stand up and resist this genocide that's being committed against us. It is obvious and open genocide against the poor black people in Louisiana and in America.
Yeah, all of these fights that we identify on our shows and our platform, I come to the conclusion they are eternal fights. And I know I mentioned that the other day with you. These fights are eternal. We just have to find a generation that could carry the mantle, and you live to change things. You live to change things for the better. And I see what you guys, you sisters and brothers have been doing, as y'all been living to change things. And it takes generation. I'm so glad your daughters join you in the fight. And, we just need more groups and examples such as yourself, the Taylors right there.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jay. We appreciate you, man.
Yes, giving us this
sir.
platform
Really
is important.
Thank you so much. Well, we go wind down for the day. We appreciate those on AOC Community Media, Cox 15, and LUS Channel 3, Lafayette. Stay tuned for another edition of Real Talk TV in the near future.